Yeah, everybody doing all right?
Yes, sir.
You take up our offering for us, Johnny? You take up our offering for us? Got any prayer requests or praise reports before we pray? Yeah, he's on there. He's on there. We put him on there last week. Unspoken.
Pancreatic cancer and a stomach mass, and she is in specialty in Jackson.
All right.
Supposed to have surgery for AET on Tuesday, so if y'all just remember her. And remember him as well.
Yeah.
Her husband is having a hard time with it.
Anybody else? What you got, Ron?
Donald Bell.
Donald Bale?
Yeah. That's his name now? Last name? He didn't come with a tie. I think he comes here sometimes. He's experiencing chronic back pain for some kind of surgery, so he's down. Pray for some comfort for him.
All right. All right. If ain't no others, let's take this to the Lord. Heavenly Father, dear God, just like to thank you for waking me and my family up today, dear Lord. I'd like to thank you for the river and what Brother Barry and these people mean to me and my family and my road to recovery, dear Lord. Dear Lord, our guests and everybody else that's new here, just we'd like to thank you for them and possibly keep them coming back, dear Lord. These things I ask in your Son's name, Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Yeah, on that drug court participants, on that slip back there, that star, that's saying that you're going to be here for the 5 to 7. If you're going to be here for both meetings, make sure you put that on there. That way the ladies in the office, it makes it easier on them filling out them papers. I thought it was drug court participants, so I was wrong too. It's if you're going to be here for both meetings, make sure you put that little squiggly star out there. Cell phone policy, put them on silent. If you got to take it, go outside. We do live stream most of the time, so the first 2 rows, if you're sitting in them, they're liable to see the back of your head. Or if you're coming up here to get one of our hero bracelets, they're liable to see you then. No big deal. If you don't want it, just don't come up here, because if you don't want to be on that live stream. If you're in need of help, we do offer local assistance. We have printouts in the lobby, or speak with Joy or the other staff member back there. Mackenzie, I get her name right. Ron, why don't you tell us about Ty's Legacy while you're here? That's next on my list right here.
Sure. Hey everybody, my name's Ron. Ms. Jackie mentioned Ty's Legacy is a sister location of the river here. We started in December of 23, and we're going strong. And we get together on Friday nights at 6 o'clock. Several of you in here are core members, and was a first-time visitor. Thank y'all for coming. But we get together, we share some literature together, and then we have open discussion, and we just share things that come on our mind. Something, everything, and all addiction recovery people are welcome. It's at 6 o'clock at Faith Tabernacle Church, which is on the other side of town, Pastor Ron Tank. There are flyers on the table here in the lobby. If you'd like, you're all more than welcome to come and join 6 o'clock Friday evenings.
Thank you. Thank you, Ron. We're all on Facebook. We post all our times and dates and meetings on there. But we do have hard copies out there on that table. We do have life recovery Bibles for anybody that's needing them. You can get with Mackenzie or Miss Joy back there. I think we still got several left. We offer drug and alcohol counseling. Also help out with community service hours for guys needing them. Yeah, we're adults. If y'all make a mess, pick it up. I know there's people that do clean up after us for community service, but they shouldn't have to do nothing but touch up. You know, we ain't kids. We can clean up after ourselves. Miss Shay, you want to help me with the hero bracelets? All right. Here, clip this thing on you. That way they can hear you. Y'all don't be shy. Y'all come on up here and get them out. They pertain to you.
And I can just let this hang, right? I don't have to. Okay. All right. Do we have anyone with 24 hours to 29 days? All right. Congratulations. All right. 1 month. 2 months. 3 months. 6 months. 9 months. Awesome. Congratulations. All right. Is there anyone with 1 year? All right, Sarah. Congratulations. All right. And then do we have anyone with 2 years or more? Wow, Stacy, come on down. Yes,
We'll get your picture. We don't have to let Barry get here. All right, y'all, we got a special guest speaker today. I'm sure he'll ask you to vote for him. Yeah, but give it up for Mr. Leroy Clemons.
Thank you. All right. Yeah, I just want y'all to know it's an honor for me to be here tonight. When Barry gave me the call and told me he wanted me to come, I was excited from that day on. And you know, he's talking about me running. I am running for mayor, but that's not why I'm here tonight. I'm not here to get a vote. I'm here to talk to you, share a message with you that God has given me. And the title of that message is A Divine Appointment. A Divine Appointment. And I found the text. The text is coming out of the book of St. John, chapter 4, verse 4 through 30. And it's the story of the woman at the well. And what's interesting about this story is the way it starts. In verse 4 it says, and Jesus left Judea and departed again into Galilee. And the part I want to really talk about tonight, it says, and he must needs go through Samaria. Now let me show you the significance of what that text is talking about. I don't know if some of y'all are old enough to remember Philadelphia back in the early days in the 60s and 50s. This was a terrible little town. And people from across the state I've talked to were afraid to actually come through Philadelphia. They would drive 60 miles to go around Philadelphia because they were afraid to come through Philadelphia. And so, for whatever reasons, they had all, I talked to black, white, all different colored people that talked about it. How that they would drive from Jackson, they were going to Starkville. They wasn't coming through Philadelphia. They'd go all the way, if it took them half a day to go around Philadelphia, they weren't going to come through because of fear. Well, in this situation here, for Jesus to say that he must go through Samaria, Jesus was a Jew. And Jesus and those Jews and Samaritans didn't get along. So there was no Jew that was going to go through Samaria because they didn't like each other. They didn't even want to touch each other. If a Samaritan touched a Jew, they ran home and took a bath. That's just how much they didn't want to be around each other. And so for Jesus to say, I must needs go through Samaria. In other words, he said, I got to go. And the reason why he said he had to go was because he had an appointment with somebody. He had a divine appointment with somebody. They didn't know. They had no idea he was coming. They had no idea of the appointment, that he was coming to see them. So who is this person? Who is this person that Jesus has defined all these norms to go visit. It just so happened she was a Samaritan woman. She comes to the well. Jesus is already sitting there. He's sitting at the well just waiting on her. She wanders up to the well all by herself in the middle of the day, in the heat of the day, at about 12 o'clock noon to get water, having no idea that somebody was going to be there to meet her. And there's a reason why she came at 12 noon, because the women usually came early in the morning when it was cool. But there was a reason she did not want to be around the other women. Now, isn't that a little odd? You know, women usually love to hang out together and get together in the morning so they can talk and have a good time and share all kind of juicy stories and all that kind of stuff. But in this situation, this woman does not want to be with the other women. And this is the woman that Jesus is coming to meet. So she wanders up to the well, and the first thing Jesus asked her is, can you give me some water to drink? Now, you got to understand something. Jewish men did not even speak to Samaritan women. They didn't speak to each other. It was totally not normal for him to speak to her. And for him to ask her to give him some water, of all things. Now, if the woman even touched the man, the Jewish men, they went home and took baths. He's asking her not only to do, he wants her to give him some water. And so she was like, how is it that you being a Jew is asking me to give you water? He said, if you only knew who it was that was asking you this, you'd be asking me to give you water. Now, as that conversation went on, he convinced her in the way he was talking, and she finally said, I tell you what, give me that water that you're speaking of. I want that water that you've been telling me about, because it sounds really good. Because he was telling the water that I'm going to give you, if you drink this water, you will never thirst again. Now, let me explain what that means. He's telling her, if I give you this water, you ain't going to never need nothing else. This is going to satisfy you. See, a lot of time in life, we all go out in the world searching for things, trying to find some satisfaction. The reason why we get into some of the things we get into is because we're looking for something to satisfy a thirst that's inside of us. But Jesus is telling this woman, I got a water that if you take it, you ain't going to never thirst again. Everything you've been looking for is in this water. Now, trust me, most of us in here, if somebody told us that, we'd be like, give me that water. And so that conversation keeps going on. Jesus then asked this woman, well, go get your husband and bring him back. Now, see, this is when things change. Go get your husband. She looked at him, she said, I don't have a husband. I'm glad she didn't do like some of us would have lied. Oh, yeah, Jesus, I got it, boy. Some of us would have lied. But she told the truth. She said, I ain't got no husband. He looked at her, he told her, you right. You done had 5, but the one you got ain't even yours. Now, a lot of people mistake that and believe that this woman was, some folks think that woman was a little out there because she had 5 husbands, and the one she had wasn't hers. So, now the Bible don't say this. The Bible never tells us that woman was just out there buck wild. People make assumptions, just like they do about you and me. Sometimes they look at you and me, and they assume they know stuff about us. Just because they looking at us, they making assumptions. He must be a thief. I know one time, I run in politics all the time, so one of the people told me, I heard that you were the biggest alcoholic in Philadelphia. And I'm looking at him like, I never even had a drink in my life. I've never had a beer. I've never had a cigarette. I've never had any of that stuff. I'm gonna tell you why. Don't get don't talk about he's so holy, and he's just holy and down. That wasn't it. I grew up with a family who smoked, drank, and fought. That was their MO. They like to drink, they like to fight, and they love to smoke. Now, as a little boy, I grew up seeing this every day. And I always said to myself, no. I just don't want to be like that. I can't be like that. And then I had one uncle, when he get to drink, he like to talk. He tell all his little business. Every time he get to drinking, he get telling his business. Now, that don't work well if you married. A married man that's telling all his business don't need to do that because you're going to get in a lot of trouble. He got in a lot of, just put it like this, he got in a lot of trouble for running his mouth all the time when he was. But so I learned from them. That's why I didn't do it. It had nothing to do with me being in the church and all this kind of stuff. I learned from them and I said, if drinking makes them act like that, if smoking makes them act like that, if fighting makes them act, I don't want no part of it. That's why I chose to do something different. So I mean, because see, some people think that, see, these folks go up in the church, they so holy, they ain't never done that. No, it was a personal choice that I made. It wasn't because, now once I got in the church, that was something I was glad of, but it was real easy at that point because I had already made the personal choice not to do it. So I don't fault people, you know, who have made some struggles and made some mistakes in their life. That's part of growing up. So in this particular story that I'm talking about here, let me get back. I want to talk about this woman a minute, because this woman told us she had 5 husbands. And I like the fact that you think about this now. Jesus, who is a Jew, is going to meet a Samaritan woman who got a sort of a questionable past. Now, in defense of this woman, let me defend this woman. I don't want to lead it like y'all thinking this woman was a terrible person. This woman, you got to understand, in their day and time, if a woman married, say a woman married him, and then he dies, his brother would step up and marry her. And then if that brother died, they would step up. So it's easy to see how she could have ended up with 5 husbands. And then if all 5 of them die, it's easy to see how she could have with another man, because you see, he didn't have to just marry, he could take care of her. So it's easy to see how she could have ended up in that situation. Now now you ought to feel sorry for her. Being married to 5 men, it's hard enough being married to one of us. Imagine being married to 5, and they all died. Now imagine, let me show you another situation. Imagine what the other women in the community would say about her. She done had 5 men, all of them died probably, and now she got another one, and they waiting on him to die. Boy, now they'd been living in our day when they had all this life insurance. It could have been a little bit different. But they didn't have no life insurance back in them days. So you did, if one died, you had to get you another one. Women had to have a man to take care of them, to provide for security. So that's maybe why she had so many husbands. But the other women in the city didn't like that. Now let me tell you something else let me tell you something else about this woman we speculate about. That woman must have been a nice looking woman. Because it's hard enough to get one man. To get 6, you gotta, wait a minute, now y'all know, see these men, let me talk to men. Women, y'all don't pay no attention to this. Ain't that right, men? That woman must have looked like something for her to be able to get 6 of us to marry her, 5 to marry her, and 1 still got her. And can you imagine how them other women felt in the city? This woman can go get 5, almost 6 men, I can't get 1. So I can see why some of them made about, I can see why she came to the well by herself. Because can you imagine coming to the well with them women, and they talking about you, and see now me, and I'm going to stop talking to y'all, I'm talking to these women. See, these women looking at me like, now, Miss Leroy, we don't talk about each other. Let me say that again. See, them women, okay, maybe the women y'all hang around with. See, I used to work at American Greeting with my friend here, and it wasn't out there but women. And I sat around a lot of these conversations where they were talking about each other. So I know they talking about each other. It wasn't no secret. Because you imagine this woman in a city full of women, and you ain't going to the well with them, because they going to sit over and be talking about me. So she came to the well by herself. But there was a reason for it. It was a divine setup. God set it up like that. He set it up like because he wanted her to be there by herself. He wanted to meet her by herself. And he shows up, and he starts asking her all these questions. And then the woman asked him, I love how she asked him, she said, you asked me for water, how you going to draw water? You ain't even got nothing to draw water with. Because she had the bucket. But when Jesus got through talking to that woman was so excited, y'all. This woman turned around and ran, dropped her bucket, ran all the way back into the city. Now let me show you who she ran to. She didn't run to the women. Now, see, this was another thing tell me this woman had something special about her, because these men, if she was any kind of bad woman, these men wouldn't have been fooling with her either. This woman runs back to the city, and she goes to the men of the city, and she says, come be the man that told me everything that ever I did. And you know what the men did? Got on their feet and took the walk and went to meet this man. This woman went back into the city and converted an entire city because of that conversation she had with Jesus. And an appointment that she had no idea that she had. That morning when she got up, she didn't know she was going to meet Jesus at the well. She didn't know that her life was going to be transformed when she went to that well that day. She was just going to do her normal routine. Had no idea what was in store for her. Well, guess what? Guess what? See, life is full of unexpected moments. But a lot of these moments, they're not coincidence. Sometimes we think that meeting people I met somebody, it was a coincidence. No, God will set you up. He set you up tonight. He set you up tonight, because I guarantee some of y'all didn't know I was going to be here tonight, did you? You didn't know I was coming to talk to you tonight, did you? Because I know Barry didn't tell you. Now, the story of the woman at the well is one of the most iconic stories you're going to read about in the Bible. We don't know her name. It doesn't mention her name. It just tells us some things about her. We know she was a Samaritan woman. We know she had 5 husbands. She know the man that she was with wasn't her husband. We also know that it was a cultural. It was culturally not welcome for her to be talking to a Jewish man. People in the community would have frowned upon her if they saw that. They would have made judgments about her because they saw her talking to her. They would not have liked the idea that she was out there talking to him. I like the fact how much confidence this woman had. This is a confident woman. This is not a woman that's been beat down through 5 marriages. This is not a woman that's been beat down because she's with a man. This is not a woman who's beat down because what she's been through in her life. How do you know that, Mr. Leroy? Let me tell you. Look at the way she talked to Jesus. Now, she meets this little stranger that she's meeting. Now, if this woman was beat down, she wouldn't have talked to him like she did. This woman asked him a question like, how is it that thou being a Jew, asking me to give you something to drink? A woman beat down ain't going to ask a strange man that. Sir, thou has nothing to draw with, and the well is deep. But whence then has thou something to draw this living water with? This woman is talking to Jesus. She having a conversation. She's not afraid. This not a woman that's been beat down. This woman is still confident. One man can beat you down. Mentally, physically, emotionally. This woman done had 5. And she still got that fire. She still got that fire in her. She's still burning with that fire. And I believe that's why Jesus chose her to meet her. He wanted somebody that was still alive. Somebody that hadn't given up. Somebody that hadn't quit. And then I like when he said, when he asked her, go get your husband. She said, look at me, I ain't got no husband. I ain't got one. Now you done had 5. But you're quick to say, I don't. She could have lied because she was living with a man. She said, I ain't got no husband. And then when she went back and told him, come see a man. Now, let me talk about this a minute. This woman at the well came along at midday. She came to avoid the whispers and judgments of others. Sometimes you might feel isolated because of some of the past mistakes that you've made in your life. People will make you feel bad because you messed up. And I always tell people, sometimes people don't act. When you mess up, they won't get up off your neck. They won't let you get up. They just stay on you. You trying to get up, and people just keep their foot on your neck, pressing you down and don't want to let you. And sometimes it's the people that you think ought to be the ones trying to help you. And they the one that got their foot on your neck and won't let you get up. But Jesus doesn't care where you've been. He cares about where you're going. See, that's what I like about him. He don't care about what you've done in the past. He cares about where you're trying to go now. Like the woman at the well. You may have a past filled with pain, brokenness, and regret. You might be done some things in your life you're regretful of, that you hated. You hate you did it. There are mistakes that you made. You hate you made them. Okay. But Jesus didn't avoid this woman because of her past. He did not avoid this woman. If he was going to avoid, he never would have went through Samaria. He'd have did like them folks used to do in Philadelphia. I ain't going through there. But he went anyway, in spite of her past. In spite of the mistakes that she made in the past, he went anyway. He met her, he met her in the middle of her mistakes, in the middle of her pain, in the middle of her suffering. He went to where she was and met her when she was at her worst, lowest point. And that's what I like about it. And wherever you are right now, he's ready to meet you. He don't care about what you done in the past. He's ready to meet you right now. See, that's why I love him so much. Now, Jesus didn't, and I like this too. Sometimes we mess up. People don't want to talk to us until we go get ourselves straight. You go get yourself straight, then come back. Not one time did Jesus tell that woman that. He didn't tell her that not one time. Jesus didn't tell her to go clean up her life before he spoke to her. Because if that was the case, he never would have went to the well to meet her. He knew she was messed up. That's why he went to meet her. He met her where she was. And he'll meet you where you are today, offering you living water that can cleanse your soul and transform your life. See, that's what a divine appointment is. A divine appointment is one where it transforms your life. Now, I'm not talking about one that makes you cry. See, people think that I'm also what they call a racial healing practitioner. I travel all over the country working with groups of people that can't get along. Or whatever whatever reason. They got all different kind of reasons why I go into rooms all the time where people just can't. They just can't get along. Sometimes they look alike, sometimes they don't look alike. They just cannot get along. You go in the room, they get mad. They sitting on the opposite side of the room, they're mad at each other. And my job is to go in there and figure out how to bring them together, make them come together. But I've been in rooms where sometimes people go in there and they go to crying, they get all emotional, and they think that's changed somebody. Let me tell you what, folk can cry in your face and stab you in your back as soon as you turn around. Because transformation is more than tears. Transformation is when you have a change of heart. When it changes you as a person. It changes you from the inside out, not outside in like that. So when you meet somebody that's been transformed, you can turn your back on them. But you better watch these folks talking about not been transformed, all they did was cry. Because they can still hurt you. They will hurt you. Because they only got changed on the outside. Nothing happened on the inside. I always tell people too. People always talk about, making laws to protect folks from stuff. I always tell folks, you cannot legislate a person's heart. You can pass any law in the world. How many laws we got said that thou shalt not kill? How many folks we see get killed in the United States every year? That's what the law said. Thou shalt not kill in this United States of America. People shoot each other almost every day. Or do something crazy to each other. Laws don't mean anything to a person that's not transformed. Okay, so your divine appointment might be right now. Just like Jesus had to go through Samaria to meet that woman, guess what he did today? He arranged for you to be right here. Some of y'all be like, boy, Lord, why you take me down this journey? You didn't have to take me all this way just to get me here. Could you just invite me? Some of us wouldn't have came if God hadn't taken you down the journey you've been down. So some of us think that something that we'd have happened in our life, why'd you let that happen, God? God was trying to put you in the right place at the right time for the right thing. And he had to do it his way to get you here because some of us wouldn't have came no other way. I mean, I got daughters. I got 2 daughters. I remember when they were growing up, they used to really get on my nerves because I'm trying to tell them what's right and what not to do. I'm trying to tell my baby girl. I used to tell her, baby, you can't go down that route because there's a wall down there. You're going to run into that wall. I had to just get out of the way and just let her hit the wall. That's all the way she would listen. My oldest daughter, I can tell my oldest daughter, baby, it's a wall down there. You probably need to turn around and go back the other way. She'd do it. That baby girl, she'd wind up straight to that wall. Then she'd be like, oh, Dad, there's a wall over there. Some of us, it takes that. And so sometimes God has to get out of the way. When he's been trying to talk to you and I, and we're not listening, he has to get out of the way to let you hit the wall. He has to let you hit rock bottom before you start to listen. He had to let something bad happen to you in order to get your attention so you can sit down so he can talk to you. Tonight, many of you here have been through some things. But your life ain't over. I tell the kids that I work with all the time, no matter how many mistakes you make, if it don't kill you, we can fix it. And listen to what I said. No matter how many mistakes you make in life, if it doesn't kill you, it can be fixed. Now, if it takes you out of here, hey, I always tell my kids, I'm not wearing no T-shirt with your name, talking about rest in peace, homie. I'm not wearing no shirt when you did. But if it don't kill you, guess what? We can fix it. No mistake. Don't ever let your past define your future. You may have tried to quench your thirst in life with so many different things. You may have tried so many different things trying to quench something that you felt like was missing in your life. And you tried all sorts of things trying to fulfill that thirst that you had. You tried all sorts of things trying to fulfill a thirst that was in you. But Jesus is offering you something that will actually do it. Now, one of the things when I talk to groups, and I don't like to get super spiritual with people, because a lot of people can't relate to that. I want to talk to you about when God fulfills something in your life. He gives you something that fills that missing gap that's in you, that thing that's missing that you keep trying to go out to find to fill it with. That could be so many different things. That could be family, that could be friends, that could be groups like this where y'all come together and be a support system for each other. God will fill that gap that you got in your life, because all of us crave relationships. All of us crave wholeness. And being part of that is being part of a group, being part of a family. We were built to be part of family. We love family. And when we disconnect from family, we feel lost. And then we try to find stuff to fill that gap. Family does not necessarily have to be blood. They don't have to be blood. Family can be the folk that's sitting in this room with you right now. Family is people that's been through something like you have. They understand you. They understand what you're going through. They understand sometimes family, you sitting in your family, they can't understand what you're going through. You sitting there, you about to lose your mind. They sitting there, ain't paying you no attention, watching TV. And you going through stuff. Family is people who can relate to you, that can feel what you feel. They've experienced what you've experienced. They know where you are, what you're going through, and they can feel it. They can help you. That's family. And all of us are craving that. And God is here to provide you with an avenue to have that family. And he's providing you with the love that you need to be able to stay in that family. The respect, the dignity, the honor of being in a part of a group that makes you something special. Because God doesn't see you for your mistakes. He sees you for what you can be. And he don't see us as mistakes. He's never seen us as a mistake. Because they say, God don't make no mistakes. Sometimes he just has to wake us up so we can understand that. I'm almost done now. I come to be all day. Just like the woman at the railroad. I like this. This is what I want y'all to do. This is the call to action. Just like that woman at the well. When Jesus got through talking to her, that woman was so excited. She left her water pot. She brought the water. She had to have a water pot to get water. She left the water pot, and what did she do? Ran all the way back into town to tell the rest of the folk what she done discovered. You know what leaving that water pot meant? That meant leaving your past behind you. That was a symbol of leaving them past mistakes that she had made. She left them behind. She didn't need them anymore. She didn't need them anymore. That's why she left that pot. Because she wasn't coming back. You remember what he told her? If you take this water, you will never thirst again. So why am I going back to the well if I got some water that I ain't got to go back? She was so excited. She left that pot because she wasn't coming back to that stuff of the past. And I love what she did. She didn't just stop with herself. She went into town and told everybody else about Jesus. Now, in your situations, there are many of y'all here that have been through some stuff. Y'all have been through some stuff. Now, don't act like all of ain't none of us in here perfect, even me. We all been through some stuff. But here's what Jesus wants us to do. When he brings us through, he wants us to share our story with somebody else. To show them that he can do it for me, he can do it for you. That's what that woman went into town and told them folk. Look at this man who told me everything that ever I did. And them men were like, oh, we got to go find out more. That got them interested and want to find out more. Think about when you go tell somebody how you overcame the challenge that was put in front of you. How you overcame, how you made it. How you can encourage it. Because I might be sitting there all depressed, all out of it. I might be ready to end it all. And then you come in the room and tell me, you ain't got to do that, Mr. Leroy. I went through some of the same things. Look at what God has brought me to today. See, some of us don't look like what we've been through. Some of us do not look like what we've been through. Now, I like that. See, that sister said, amen. Now, that's a beautiful sister right there. If she done been through something, she sure don't look like it. She sure, because God is that good. That's how good God is. If you give your life to him and start living a life for him, he will transform your life. And that glow on your face will come back. That joy in your heart will come back. It'll start you like a magnet. When God gets in your life, it makes you like a. And see, the problem is the devil gets up. If the devil, family, friends, folks get in our head, making us feel like we ain't worried because of a mistake we made. They act like they ain't never made one before. Just because you didn't do what I did, in God's eyes, it's still a mistake. And he forgave you. So why you don't think he can forgive me? See, it ain't the problem about God forgiving. The problem is them. They can't forgive. But don't worry about that. You ain't trying to live for them anyway. Because one thing I've learned in this life, you cannot satisfy everybody. You try it and see what happens. You ain't going to never satisfy everybody. Live your life. Live your life. Understand I made a mistake. So what? Now I gotta move. I gotta keep moving. Because God ain't holding it against you. Ask God to forgive you and go on. And don't be like that woman at the well. Leave that stuff behind you and don't go back to it. Don't let nobody take you back. Don't let your friends, don't let your family, don't let nobody take you back to that mess. You left it, leave it there and go forward. Because God is that kind of God. That's the kind of God we serve. That's the divine encounter that God wants you to understand. And God sent me tonight to tell you about, he got a divine encounter for you. You didn't show up by accident tonight. He wants you to give your life to him. He wants you to live for him, to be an example. Let people see the life that he lived in you. See, people think, oh, Mr. Leroy, but I got to do all these other things. Be an example. That's what Jesus was trying to instill into people. Be the example. Be an example. Be an example for the folks that have been, there are a lot of people watch you. A lot of people know what some of y'all have done or what you think they think you've done. But be an example for them. Show them this is who I am. Whether you think that's where I used to be, that ain't me no more. I left that part at the well. This is the new me. This is the new me. Watch me. If you want to watch, stand there and watch me. And watch me walk into my joy. Watch me walk into my glory. Watch me walk into my happiness. Because I'm not going back to where I was. Thank y'all so much. I really appreciate y'all tonight.
Hang on now. Where's everybody going?
They going to walk into their
Stacy.
joy.
Stacy. Come on up here. Well, look, I know them few little things we talked about last week about trying to get the stuff for the kids, the music. I hadn't had a chance to talk to Barry about it yet. I don't talk to Barry on the phone. I talk to him up here, you know. But it looks like I might have to.
That's definitely going to have to be a face-to-face.
I mean, he answers me when I write.
It should just be a face-to-face.
Yeah. We got something for Stacy when he gets here. It says 2-year milestone.
Awesome. That is awesome.
He said he wanted his picture taken.
I'm going to take it with you. I'm going to put it on the wall.
All right.
I was going to tell y'all this stuff, so.
That only happens, Stacy. Come on, get up here. That only happens when you live right.
They're trying to get him up there.
No, they got your 2-year certificate. Come on here. Hold that. Hold that and hold my hand.
I got you right here, buddy. Here we go.
All right.
That's awesome.
That's a good picture.
That is a good picture.
All right, that's awesome.
Wait a minute.
Kept you alive for the time since
That's a story worth telling.
for time since they